Welcome to the SNA Explainer.
Great to be here.
Today we are diving, really diving deep. We're plunging headfirst into the incredibly dense and honestly fascinating world of General Thaddeus E. Thunderbolt Ross. Part 6, it's one, of course.
The main man himself.
Yeah, you wanted the full story, every single detail, and trust me, we've got a mountain of info here. Forget the highlights reel. This is the director's cut. Exactly. From his origins, steeped in that military tradition, to his completely mind-blowing transformations and everything in between, prepare for a deep dive unlike any other. Our mission to basically dissect the key moments, the unbelievable powers, and the often contradictory nature of this iconic figure.
Absolutely.
We're talking his relentless, almost obsessive pursuit of the Hulk.
Oh, yeah?
His shocking metamorphosis into the Red Hulk, and just all the gamma-irradiated fallout. Get ready to have your understanding of Thunderbolt Ross completely revolutionized.
Absolutely. And what's truly captivating is how deeply his early life shaped the man and, the monster he would eventually become. Born into a New Hampshire family, generations of military service. His path seemed almost set in stone, didn't it?
Right from the start.
As a boy,
Yeah.
he wasn't just reading about battles, he was immersed, devouring every detail of military history.
Okay, but here's a fantastic early insight, right? As a teenager, while other kids are doing, normal teenager stuff,
Yeah.
young Thaddeus was barnstorming at county fairs, flying planes, doing stunts.
Do you imagine? Barnstorming, that early daring, that sort of disregard for convention, it really foreshadows his later impulsive decisions.
Totally. High-stakes stuff both in his career and obviously with the Hulk.
It speaks volumes about a guy who doesn't just follow orders.
Yeah.
He seeks the action. Then, of course, West Point graduates, lays the groundwork, a remarkable military career ahead.
Exactly. And that military path, it wasn't just a job, was it? It was tied right into his personal life from day one. Marrying Karen Lee, daughter of his first commanding officer, Captain Lee. That says a lot about that world. Maybe even some calculated ambition. A strategic mind, even then.
That's a good point. Very strategic.
Then World War II hits. The Pacific Theater. And that's where he gets the Thunderbolt nickname.
Legendary.
His troops said he's struck like a thunderbolt. Aggressive, decisive, fearless leadership. You have to really think about what that meant back then. What specific actions cemented that rep? He wasn't just there, he was a force.
Those wartime experiences, undeniably formative.
Yes.
Etched into him, serving not just in the Pacific, but also witnessing the liberation of a concentration camp in Europe.
Wow.
That's a level of historical trauma that shapes anyone's worldview.
Right.
Probably cemented his understanding of threats, maybe fueled that later. Very black and white view of the world.
Uncompromising.
Yeah. Fast forward to 47, transitions to the new U.S. Air Force. More aerial combat, strategy, power projection.
Okay, let's unpack this control initiative he joins post-war. This wasn't some small committee. Ross is rubbing shoulders with Reed Richards,
Which is fantastic.
Howard Stark, Bolivar Trask.
Quite the lineup.
Their mission: monitor scientific progress, neutralize threats before they happen. It's fascinating seeing Ross operate at that level, understanding warfare beyond just tanks and planes.
Shows his strategic depth.
And this is the crucial link, isn't it? Because it's in this context that Ross gets interested in a young Robert Bruce Banner. After that science high school bombing incident,
The fateful connection.
Ross, with his eye for potential and potential threats, saw Banner's brilliance in weapons design. A fateful interest, to put it mildly.
Catastrophic consequences, yeah. As Lieutenant General, serious authority, Ross takes oversight of Banner's gamma bomb project.
The big one.
And this is where that intense personal animosity starts. Ross saw Banner, maybe through his own rigid military lens, as a weakling.
Not suited for the power.
Exactly. That initial disdain, that clash of personalities, plus the totally devastating unintended outcome of the test, it sets the stage for decades of conflict.
Decades!
Banner's accidental exposure to that massive gamma wave, high energy radiation, in Marvel can trigger these wild transformations.
Instead of killing him.
Yeah, it triggers the Hulk. And what's significant is how Ross's focus shifts instantly from weapons development facilitator to relentless hunter of the thing his project created.
And that hunt just becomes this all-consuming obsession. Initially, Banner's secret, guarded by Rick Jones.
Loyal Rick.
That just adds frustration for Ross. He doesn't just see a menace, he suspects Banner of actual treason, imagining some alliance between the scientist and the monster.
Paranoid, really.
This paranoia, this conviction of Banner's duplicity leads him to bring in Major Glenn Talbot.
Oh, Talbot. Another layer of drama.
Right, Talbot dislikes Banner too, and classic move, he's attracted to Betty Ross, the general's daughter.
Perfect storm. Military intrigue, manhunt, personal drama, giant green monster smashing things.
Exactly. The Pentagon makes it official. Ross heads Operation Hulk. The mandate. Capture or eliminate.
No ambiguity there.
So what do you think fueled him most in those early days? Duty? Or was it already personal? Responsibility? Humiliation?
I think it's got to be a potent mix of all of that. Duty, absolutely.
Yeah.
Protecting the country. But also fear, right? Raw fear of the Hulk's power.
Uncontrollable power.
And yeah, I think you're right about the bruised ego, the personal responsibility, maybe even shame, having overseen the creation of this threat.
And then finding out Banner is the Hulk, that must have just solidified it for him.
Totally. The weakling was the monster. And Ross, he's a man of action, a battlefield guy. He preferred the hunt to the death job.
We see that play out. He faces the leader, Abomination, often needing the Hulk to stop them.
The irony. The thing he wants to destroy keeps saving the day from worse threats.
It's constant. And through these encounters, maybe a tiny flicker of respect for Banner's power, buried deep down.
Possibly. A grudging respect? Maybe. Which makes it even more surprising when Banner briefly gains control.
And Ross actually approves his marriage to Betty.
Unbelievable, right? Imagine the internal conflict. Accepting the man he blames for everything as his son-in-law.
Must have been Betty's influence. Or maybe Ross saw Banner's humanity for a split second.
But true comic book style.
Yeah.
The wedding gets blown up by the leader.
Of course it does. No peace for Ross.
That disaster leads directly to Hulkbuster Base. Ross in command. The goal shifts slightly: capture and cure. Operation. Greenskin.
But beneath that scientific veneer...
Oh, the distrust is still there, big time. He was reportedly pleased when Betty later married Talbot. Still thought she couldn't be happy with Banner.
Such a tangled web. This constant push and pull in his feelings. It's like he's fighting the Hulk and his own understanding of Banner simultaneously.
Absolutely, it's deeply personal, beyond national security. It's tied to Betty, his perceived failures, that clash with Banner's pacifism versus his militarism.
His desperation really shows when he makes illegal bargains with the Abomination.
Yeah, that's a clear sign of how far he'd stray from the rules to get the Hulk. Crossing ethical lines becomes a pattern.
We see him chase the Hulk into Canada, get captured by the Gremlin.
Rescued by Talbot and Armbrister.
But then Betty blames Ross for Talbot's apparent death during that rescue.
Devastating blow. That contributes to him losing command.
Hulkbuster Base destroyed. Keeps trying. With Quartermain, Doc Samson, even using Abomination again. Reckless.
Just consumed by it. Even when they rebuild his Gamma Base, focusing on research, that obsession is still simmering. Leads to a nervous breakdown, medical leave.
And then the really tragic part, Talbot's actual death fighting the Hulk.
That just pours fuel on the fire, adds another layer of personal loss, fuels the need for revenge.
And that's when it gets really dark, right? He returns to active duty, but it's different.
Yeah, the motivation's shifted. It's not just duty now, it's pure revenge. For Talbot, for his breakdown, for everything he thinks the Hulk and Banner took.
Even when Banner gets control, gets a pardon, Ross is still convinced he's a threat.
Unshakable conviction leads him to command Project Earthfall, keeping Abomination frozen.
Ethically dubious is putting it mildly.
And his plan: unleash Abomination to kill the Hulk. Biological warfare, basically. Treason. Brings him into conflict with MODOK, of all people.
It's a shocking descent. The hero becomes the villain.
And Betty sees it all. That confrontation must have been brutal. She reaffirms her love for Banner, accuses her father of treason.
That's got to be the breaking point, the shame, the realization.
Overwhelmed, he disappears, dishonorably discharged, becomes a drifter, descends into near insanity.
What do you think finally broke him? Betty's accusation, Talbot's death, or just the weight of it all, the failures?
Probably a confluence of everything.
Yeah.
But Betty's public rejection, that had to be catastrophic. Forced him to see the moral cost.
Talbot's death fueled the rage.
Yeah, the sheer futility, right.
Yeah.
All those years, all those resources, and he still couldn't stop the Hulk. It chipped away at his sanity.
His reappearance at Betty and Bruce's wedding, gun in hand, shooting Rick Jones. It's just terrifying. Shows how fractured he was.
Totally gone. Even psychiatric care doesn't fully fix it. Then comes the really weird part, Zzzax.
Oh man, the Zzzax chapter. Participating in that SHIELD experiment.
And his consciousness gets absorbed by this energy entity. Ross's mind controlling Zzzax.
The ultimate grounded military guy becomes pure energy. It's Wild.
And that power, fueled by his hate for Banner, makes him try to kill Banner and Rick Jones, who's also got Hulk powers by then.
But seeing himself like that as this energy monster, it horrifies him, right?
Yeah, a moment of self-recognition. The Zzzax flees. Eventually his mind gets back to his body, but he brings some of Zzzax's energy with him.
Then comes that moment of heroism. A mutant attacks Gamma Base, draining life energy.
And Banner sacrifices himself to save Betty. The man Ross hated saves his daughter.
Witnessing that, Ross finally gets it. He was wrong about Banner. Utterly wrong.
And in a final redemptive act, Ross uses the Zzzax energy inside him, sacrifices himself to kill the mutant, dies in Betty's arms.
A tragic but kind of fitting end to that chapter, wouldn't you say? Redemption through sacrifice.
A very powerful end. But, you know, comics, death is rarely permanent.
Never.
His body gets stolen, resurrected by the leader, recovered by the Trojans.
Of course.
And when he comes back, his approach is different. Almost funny. His new way of dealing with the Hulk.
What?
Ignoring him.
Yeah.
Calls it more cost-effective.
Seriously, after decades of obsession, that's hilarious.
But it doesn't last. When Betty seemingly dies from Banner's gamma DNA, the vendetta is back full force.
He's back to square one, and around this time, General Riker is also hunting the Hulk.
Yeah, the military never gives up on that.
Yeah.
Then goes World War Hulk. Ross is a full general now, confronts Hulk again, gets captured.
And this defeat sets the stage for something huge. The Red Hulk arrives in 2008.
Boom. A total paradigm shift. This wasn't just another Hulk.
No way. This guy was smart, tactical, brutal, and totally mysterious at first.
His debut is insane, takes down Wendigo, Abomination, like they were nothing, destroys the helicarrier, beats loads of heroes.
Effortlessly. This wasn't just a new villain, it was a force operating with cold precision.
And siphoning the power cosmic from the Silver Surfer. That's cosmic level audacity.
What were your first thoughts when Red Hulk showed up? That mystery was intense.
It was brilliant. He felt like the total opposite of Banner's Hulk. The tactical mind, the unrestrained power, no moral compass. Captivating.
And the reveal. That Red Hulk was Thunderbolt Ross, and the dead Ross was just an LMD.
Jaw-dropping. A masterstroke twist. Completely flipped the script.
And then finding out Red She-Hulk was Betty, also supposedly dead.
Mind blown. The whole Ross-Banner dynamic turned upside down. Plus the backstory, the super soldier program, Doc Samson, the intelligentsia.
Shadowy geniuses pulling strings.
Added layers of conspiracy. As Red Hulk, Ross did stop some intelligentsia plans, but got beaten by the real Hulk. That overheating weakness was key.
And then the really unbelievable turn. Banner gets Red Hulk onto the Avengers.
Can you imagine the team meetings? The tension? The guy who hunted Hulk is now an Avenger.
Insane. But as an Avenger, Red Hulk did help stop the intelligentsia's scorched earth plan. Proved his worth, kind of.
Unconventionally, yeah. He wielded the power gem during that Infinity Gem crisis. Fought Angrier, the thing powered up by fear itself. Led his own Thunderbolts team.
The controversial one, yeah. Anti-heroes and villains.
It's a weird redemption arc, right? Trying to navigate heroism paved with gamma and broken stuff.
So why do you think Banner did it? Brought his arch nemesis onto the team? Defies logic.
Complex reasons, probably.
Right.
Strategic calculation, keep your enemy close, maybe grudging respect for Ross's military mind, now amplified by Hulk power.
Banner the pragmatist. Safer to have him inside under scrutiny than outside doing who knows what.
Possibly. It definitely made for a volatile team dynamic. Forced heroes to confront their own biases about heroes and villains.
Even after Dot Green depowered him and he was jailed, he gets paroled after helping during Secret Empire.
And then gets his Red Hulk powers back, complete with a mustache and flat top.
The mustache survived! That's amazing.
Testament to his stubbornness. Even gets briefly kidnapped by Dr. Doom for his think tank. His strategic mind is still valued, even by villains.
Okay, let's really dig into the power here. Both Ross the General and Red Hulk.
Two different worlds of power. That's General Ross. Brilliant military leader, strategist, tactician, weapon expert. Decades of experience. Top-tier human.
But Red Hulk, different league entirely.
Oh yeah, immeasurable superhuman strength. Lifting way over 100 tons, boosted by absorbing energy, especially gamma.
The feats are staggering. Killing Abomination easily, punching out the Watcher.
Punching the Watcher. Superhuman leaping, crossing huge distances, even into space. Stamina, durability, speed, all superhuman.
Healing factor too.
Significant healing factor.
Yeah.
And that energy absorption gamma. Power cosmic, turning threats into fuel.
Plus the heat vision thing.
Limited thermokinesis, yeah. He gets heat from his eyes, gets hotter with anger, but risks overheating. Crucially, conscious transformation. Unlike Banner initially, big tactical edge.
So what was Red Hulk's biggest advantage? What made him such a powerhouse?
I'd say the combo. His sharp tactical mind and military experience fused with that cosmic-level physical power. He could plan and execute with brutal efficiency.
Unlike rage-fueled Hulk sometimes.
Exactly. The energy absorption was huge, too. Made him adaptable, unpredictable, but not invincible. Still vulnerable to blades, negative zone energy drain, overheating, mental attacks.
And we can't forget the other power-ups, brief though they were.
Right. Controlling Zzzax energy, the Venom symbiote fusion, the Spirit of Vengeance, Hellfire, Pen and Stare. Even got a Hellmark from Mephisto.
So many layers. Makes him incredibly formidable and unpredictable.
One of the most complex power sets out there.
So looking back at this absolutely epic saga, what are the core conflicts, the defining aspects of Thunderbolt Ross's character arc?
Number one has to be the obsessive, self-destructive hatred of the Hulk. It defined his life, clouded his judgment, led to terrible decisions and alliances.
Ruined relationships.
Yeah, absolutely. The complex, volatile relationship with Banner himself. Hate, grudging respect, maybe a reluctant understanding. It's tragic, really.
And his relationship with Betty? So strained. His vendetta always seemed to come first. Caused so much pain.
Heartbreaking. Then the transformation into Red Hulk, that's a massive turning point. Forces everyone, including himself, to reevaluate him. The uneasy superhero role.
And throughout it all,
that constant struggle for control. Control over Hulk, his own rage, his identity. He's defined by that unwavering will, his deep flaws, but also that surprising, explosive capacity for change.
Wow. What an intense journey we've just mapped out. Decorated general, war hero, gamma behemoth. Thunderbolt Ross is just woven into Marvel's DNA, isn't he? Defined by will, flaws, and that tumultuous path.
And honestly, even after all this, we've barely scratched the surface of all his adventures and transformations.
Seriously. So for you listening right now, what part of Ross's story really hits home for you? Is it the relentless Hulk hunt? The shock of the Red Hulk, that incredibly complicated family mess?
Let us know in the comments. We really want to hear what you think.
This deep dive, it really shows a man driven by duty, sure, but also loss, and this almost pathological need to confront and control perceived threats.
A cautionary tale about obsession, power, and how blurry the lines between hero and villain can get.
And here's a final thought to chew on. Despite all the flaws, the questionable acts, the times he was an outright villain, Ross has acted with undeniable heroism, even made the ultimate sacrifice.
Multiple times, in different ways.
So what does that tell us about good and evil? About the potential for change, even in the most hardened people? It's definitely something to ponder.
A lot to think about.
Until our next deep dive into the Marvel Universe, keep exploring, keep questioning.